On his trip to Hudson Valley, New York today, President Biden took the stage with Congressman Mike Lawler, the district's representative. Biden previously had hammered Lawler as a MAGA Republican, but now he says he's a good guy.
And Republican Congressman Mike Lawler's here as well. Mike's on the other team, but you know what? Mike is the kind of guy that when I was in the Congress, they were the kind of Republican I was used to dealing with. But he's not one of these MAGA Republicans.
Well, we're wondering if Congressman Lawler is as confused as we are by the change in tone. He joins us now. Welcome, Congressman.
Thanks for having me.
The president, he put out a tweet with your picture calling you a MAGA Republican. Today strikes a different tone. However, I do wonder in your head, being praised by a Democrat president, do you worry about a primary challenge at all?
No, look, I took the opportunity to go there because, it is who I am to be bipartisan, to be willing to engage in conversation. And I talked to the president privately before his speech and told him in no uncertain terms he needs to negotiate with Speaker McCarthy to lift the debt ceiling, and he needs to work with us on the migrant crisis impacting our southern border and communities like mine where migrants are being shipped from New York City to my congressional district because of the crisis that's been created at our southern border. So I took the opportunity to be very direct with the president, and obviously, I guess he appreciated my candor.
What do you say back to you?
He acknowledged certainly the migrant crisis that we're dealing with and agreed that we need to secure our border and that we need to do more to get Border Patrol down there and folks to handle these asylum cases. But with respect to the debt ceiling, he acknowledged my position, which was to say, look, you have to negotiate, we have to cut spending, and we cannot default. And I reinforced for him, by the way, Chuck Schumer cannot pass a clean debt ceiling. He doesn't have the votes for it.
Good point.
And House Republicans are the only ones that have actually done anything to lift the debt ceiling, rein in spending, and get our country back on a path to fiscal sanity. He should work with the Speaker, and hopefully when they meet again on Friday, he does.
On that note about the Speaker, he had some words for the Speaker and so-called MAGA Republicans. You were in the room. Let's watch what he said.
There's a very extreme wing of the Republican Party, and the House of Representatives refer to themselves now. I've been calling them this for a while, but now they refer to themselves as the MAGA Republicans. And they've taken control of the House. They've taken control. They have a speaker who has his job because he yielded to the, quote, MAGA element of the party.
What was going through your mind when he's talking about the House Speaker in that way?
No, I kept a poker face. But, look, I think the president obviously has his message, has his talking points that he was trying to hammer home in my congressional district.
Sure.
He undermined it a bit by acknowledging that I'm not, an extremist. But I think the bottom line here is, the Speaker has really worked to bring our conference together and to focus on the issue at hand, whether you're talking about the debt ceiling, the immigration crisis at our southern border, and the president needs to work with him. The Joe Biden of old would have done that.
Yes.
As vice president, he negotiated with John Boehner and House Republicans.
Yeah.
I think he needs to come back to that and take that tack.
Last question for you. First of all, I'm sure that's great fodder for you for campaign ads in the general election. I understand Gretchen Whitmer's sister has declared against you.
She has, and Liz Whitmer Garrity and Mondaire Jones, the former congressman, is also thinking about running. So they may have a tough primary, but obviously the Whitmer family is looking to go nationwide here. And so if people want to support us, and given that the president was in my district today, they should text Biden to 85007. That's Biden to 85007 to help support me and make sure that we hold on to our House Republican majority next year. You
won a hard-fought race, and it appears the president of the United States is very scared of you. We got to study how you did it. Congressman Mike Lawler, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.